Good evening or afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Tenacious Earl, and this is the Tenacious Baseball League on the Tabletop Baseball channel. It's great to be back here tonight playing another game. So first, just want to take a moment and just say that on one hand, I'm not terribly happy that I lost my temper a bit last night. On the other hand, I'm still definitely not satisfied with. So if you guys haven't watched the video from last night, hi Tribe Fan, hi Jonathan. If you haven't watched the video from last night's game, that would have been, so that rounded out everybody's played 5 games, every team. So that I'll start this by saying that every team has now played 5 games. So this is sort of a place where I can make sort of a clean break. So bear with me as I explain this. So last night, I kind of got fed up with the way, not necessarily the number of injuries, because I think it's always going to seem like a lot of injuries when you are trying to shove. Well, no. So if you're playing a 162 game season, first off, I think that the way that I think there are too many injuries. Their system is going to bring about too many injuries. I think if you go in and you try to play a full replay using those numbers, that's not going to work for you. You're going to be way off. But anyway, that's beside the point. In this league, where I'm playing a third of the games, it may actually be a lot closer to real life than what. As far as, so, I guess long story short, I'm not really unhappy with, like I said, the number of injuries that come about. I think what I'm unhappy with is the way that they implement how they come about. And I'm going to make a change. So I know that the Russian Rebel is what he goes by on Twitter, and he goes by Alexander on here. I know he did have a back and forth with Stratomatic. I also did on Twitter. And basically their response was, this is an optional rule. You don't have to follow it. So that being said, I'm not real fond of the idea of it, of there being rules that you implement and say you're going to implement and then say, oh, well, they're optional. I mean, take the little extra time. I mean, and not only that, you have a lot of people here who are playing the game. They can give you feedback. You can beta test this stuff ahead of time. And so, I tweeted out a response with a suggestion. I'm going to be trying it here. So like I said, I've kind of gotten to a point where every team has played 4 games, not 5 games. So, hi Juan. Let's see who else has. I have a couple other viewers here, but only. Jerry. Hi Jerry. So here is going to be my modification. I'm going to use this the rest of the season unless something really goes haywire. I don't think it will, but like I said, it's not the number of injuries that's the problem. I actually think that in general, I'm going to end up having the right number of, give and take. Because when you roll that D20, you're probably going to get more than, some you're going to get more, some you're going to get less. Just because that's the way it is. But what I don't like is the fact that every pitcher injury that comes about, and we're talking mostly about pitcher injuries, okay? Every pitcher injury that comes up ends up being, you immediately have to take the pitcher out of the game unless you get a 1 through 6 on the D20. And what that leaves you with is a bunch of situations where you're just constantly, you could remove 3 or 4 pitchers in a game, I would imagine. And if you're playing a 162 game schedule, that's just going to frustrate the heck out of you. So here's my modification that I'm going to go with this season. We'll see how it works out. So if you roll that pitcher's injury, you grab the D20 for sure, but you also grab your single D6 and you roll that at the same time. If it's 1 or 2, the pitcher immediately leaves the game. So that's a 33% chance. If it's 3 or 4, the pitcher must come out at the end of the inning. So what that does is it at least gives you a chance. You don't need to like bring this next pitcher in right away, and like to me it just feels so. It just interrupts the flow of the game, and so that's sort of like an intermediary thing. 5 and 6 means that the pitcher can finish off the game at the manager's discretion. But so each of these 3 things then means that whatever's on the D20 sticks as far as the duration of the injury. So if you roll a 6 on the D6, the pitcher's still okay. It doesn't matter. That nullifies the D6 roll. What I mean, if I roll a 6, if I roll 1 through 6 on the D20, it nullifies it. But if it goes to one of the other rolls, then you use that information to inform how you're going to implement this in the game. Because I do feel like there are going to be times that there are times in real life a pitcher is going to feel a twinge and say to himself, I'm going to fight through this. And so he gets to where he comes out of the game, 7th inning, things start tightening up, or maybe it doesn't even, or whatever. Or there are going to be times when maybe with the taken out at the end of the game is more like he's become ineffective, and so the manager realizes, oh, let's take an MRI on this because his speeds are down, blah, blah, blah. Oh, he's got a rotator cuff, or oh, he's got tenderness in his elbow. Oh, he's got this. We're going to take him out for 15 games. Now, the twinge is like, okay, well, now he's sitting on the bench for a while, and, he's tightening up. He's not going to be able to go back out there. So that's the 3 and 4. So that's my plan. That's my plan. I am the type of guy who does not like to do a lot of playing with the rules that Stratomatic throws out there. I think modifying rules that are or creating rules that are non-existent because you are a solo player and you are trying to find a way to mitigate circumstances that make it difficult because you are a solo player. Like, I'm playing for both teams, and so for me to decide, so in the advanced game before, like in version 1.0, there was the advanced, the defensive shift. There are some, whether you call ethical, there's just some potential snafus that can come up when you say, oh, I'm not going to hold the runner on, oh, then I'm going to steal because he gets a good lead or something like, or not, you don't get a good lead in the advance, but because he gets the advantage of not being held on, and so I'm going to take advantage. It's like, that's where that came from. This is adjusting a rule that has been endorsed by Strat, even though now today they say, oh, well, you can modify it the way you like, or it's optional, you can do whatever. It's like, but the other part about that worries me is that by them saying that, it makes me think to myself, how many of the other rules that are not talked about are really optional, and so I'm sure they would say lots of them are home run effects or ballpark effects, things like that. It's like, I don't really want to hear that so much. I would just like you to say, oh, we got this wrong, we're working on it, and that would make me feel a little better instead of just saying, oh, this is optional. We aren't sure we got it right. But anyway, hopefully this is making sense. So this is what I'll do. I'm hoping that I can keep paying attention to the pitcher rolls, because it's something that when you get on a roll, you can start to ignore because it's just the way it is. Is with the hitter injuries, it says it right on the card. With the pitcher injuries, it's a little less you have to be paying much more attention. So, let's get to the game. I know you guys are here for a game, not for someone complaining about Stratomatic or whatever. I did enough of that last night. Okay, so what we got here is the Tigers and the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays won the previous game 4-0. Because Detroit played a game on day 1 and had a day off on day 2 of this league, it's giving Justin Verlander a chance to come back and pitch in this game. So what it will mean is that Shane Green, who is their 5th starter to start the season, he will pitch the final game of this series, barring some kind of a... Well, this is Toronto, so there's no ballpark effect, or there's no rainouts in Toronto. So R.A. Dickey will go for the Blue Jays, the knuckleballer. Surprisingly, not too many wild pitches. You would have thought a guy like that, which also means not so many passed balls either. You'd think that a guy like that would kind of bring some of those up. So we'll get the ballpark effects ready. It is a night game, and a 3 should mean that they have the roof open and things will be nice. Well, no, I guess they don't. Toronto, just 1-20. Night game, so 7s and 10s. I guess they don't open the roof at night. So 7s on singles, 10s on bombs, and all right, we're ready to go. Let me see. Defensive indifference is a stolen base. One of my else, someone got a lead. I gave him a stolen base. It was a blowout if someone got a lead down. Yeah. Yeah. Well. Yeah. There are definitely certain things that are not perfect in this game. That is one of them for sure. The defensive indifference. There's kind of a lack of it, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you could always just say. I guess the way when I put those things into Strat PC, I just call it fielder's choice and say it's the catcher's choice not to throw it. So it also really should be the fielder's choice not to go over and cover the bag either. So Tigers, they rolled a 2, which means shortstop, right field, and first base could be rested. And right fielder J.D. Martinez is the only one that needed rest. So against the right-hander Dickey, it's going to be Kinsler at second, Collins in left. He's a lefty. Miguel Cabrera will be back at third base to allow Victor Martinez up to play first. James McCann catching, Justin Upton in right, Jose Iglesias shortstop, Anthony Gose in center, and Justin Verlander pitching. Nick Castellanos, he's not going to be playing nearly as much in this season because of the pitcher hitting. And so here we go. Kinsler against Dickey. And Dickey is a 1, so a 1 injury. And both pitchers are -5 holds, so not much base thievery going to be going on here tonight. But what I was saying is Dickey, the 1 means 6'12" on any hitter would be a potential injury. 5'7" against a righty, and that should be a single for Kinsler right off the bat. And sure enough, so like I said, with -5 hold plus catcher arm, not much stealing going to be going on here today. Collins, he hits a high pop-up on the right side of the diamond. Covering that will be Encarnacion, and that'll be the first out. Miggy. And let's see, is it going to sneak by the shortstop? No, it does not. It's caught by Tulowitzki on the line drive, and that'll be the second out. Victor Martinez. And he looks at that one on the corner, and he gets rung up for strike 3. And that will be it for the Tigers in the top of the first. No runs, no 1 hit, and 1 left. There isn't. There's a... What is it called? There's a defensive... What is it called? Some kind of interference. It's not... To me, that's not the same. So, I'm starting to run low on the cold ones here, so I'm going to have one here, but might have to make a run to the store here pretty soon. All right. Verlander out to pitch to these Blue Jays, the home team. And so, Blue Jays, for a second time, got a 6 on the rest roll for the D6, which means catcher was one of them. Josh Tolley caught last time around, so he had to rest because he's under 200 plate appearances. The other 2 were the center field and third base. Both Pilar and Donaldson were cleared to play. So it's going to be Saunders leading off today in left. Russell Martin catching and batting second. Josh Donaldson third base. Encarnacion at first. Tulowitzki short. Goins at second. Bautista in right. Pilar in center. And Dickey pitching. Kind of an experimental lineup here. I just wanted to try Saunders in the leadoff spot and see how that worked out. So here we go. And he strikes out to start the game for the Blue Jays. Swings and misses. Russell Martin. And that's a ground ball to Iglesias. Iglesias throws to first in time. Josh Donaldson. And that's a ground ball to Kinsler. And Kinsler makes it a 1-2-3 inning. So there is no score going to the top of the second. So again, I'm going to try to do more play-by-play and less calling out the numbers. So I don't know how that suits everybody, but I kind of like the feeling of that. I also feel like I can move a little quicker. So McCann leading off here. And that is going to be a, he looks at it, one there as well, and that's a strikeout. Dickey's knuckleball comes back over the plate, and McCann can't believe it. It looked like it was outside, but the umpire just tells him to go back to the dugout and shut the heck up. And that will be ball 4 for Justin Upton. He looks at that one. And with 1 out, they're going to have to hold Upton on. Iglesias. So Upton's going to get a lead. He's going to go. And that is going to mean that he... well, the batter swings and misses. So now we've got to figure out if... Let's see what kind of lead Upton got on this. So a 6 for him does not get a good lead. So that is... Basically, we roll the D20 now, and if it's a 1, he is out. Or if it's a 1, he's safe. If it's 2 through 20, he is out. This would be a caught stealing. And that's exactly what it is. Not a very good jump, and Iglesias missing the pitch means that the tag is applied by Goins, and so now Iglesias continues his at bat with 2 outs and nobody on base. And that's a ground ball back to Dickey. Dickey had to range for that a little bit, but he throws to first, and no score. Tigers run themselves out of an inning there. Hi, Ken. So leading off the second here for the Jays, Encarnacion. And, he hits it right. It tries to get to the hole there, but instead it's going to be cut off by Iglesias, and he throws over to Victor Martinez for the first out. Tulowitzki now at the plate. And he grounds it right back to Verlander. Hot shot. Verlander, though, good reflexes. Throws to first in time for the second out. And Ryan Goins, he swings and he misses. Foul tip strikeout. Just did get a piece of that, but holding on is Martin. And we will go to the third, no score. Hi, Larry. So I guess you guys missed my the early part of this video where I talk about how I'm going to rectify things. If we come upon that situation here, I'll let you know. Dickey's the only one that can have an injury in this game, at least at this point. Verlander's a zero injury guy. So Ghost, he rips one. It's looking like it's going to head to the gap, and it does. It goes all the way to the wall. It bounces towards center. He's flying around second, and he's going to stop at third base. Easy stand-up triple for Goes, and Detroit is set up shop here right now. Nails one off of Dickey. Verlander, but not much they can do about this. They could try bunting, but they hate getting Goes run out of it. So they're just going to have Verlander swing away. And that is a strikeout, probably the decent result there. And I just realized something. Pardon me. Somehow I wrote that in the fourth inning. There, you can barely even tell. So back to the top here. Kinsler, he singled. They'd love to have a single right now. And that's a ground ball to second base. They're playing back, which means Goes has a pretty good chance of scoring here. This is going to be Goins 1E15, so that is a ground ball. It's a G1, and then on an E15. No error, makes the play, and we got to look at the chart. Hold on, I got to look at this chart. I forgot. G1 runner at third, run advance. We're not playing to the infield ends, so that'll be an RBI for Kinsler, 1-0 Detroit. They had no chance to get Goes at home. Runs too quickly. So 2 outs. Tyler Collins. Nobody on base. And that is going to be ball 4 for Tyler Collins. It brings up Miguel Cabrera. Runner at first. 2 outs and the pitch. And, boy, he gets this one into the dirt. Is it going to get away from Russell Martin? No, he's able to block that one. And so, here's the payoff pitch. That is a strikeout. Swings and misses, and that will be it here. Top of the third, they do pick up a run on 1 hit. Big hit by Goes there, the triple. So bottom of the third, it'll be Jose Bautista starting off this inning. And there's the first base runner. He draws a walk. Kevin Pillar. Swings away here. Boy, a lot of twos coming up here tonight. And that is a single. Punches it through the hole. And over to third base will move Bautista. And Jays are in the same boat as Detroit. First part of this inning. Runner at third with nobody out. And brings up R.A. Dickey. Blue Jays will let him swing away here. And he's batting from the right side. And he strikes out. Same result as the Tigers there. Michael Saunders, he struck out in the first to lead off the game. And that he is going to load the bases as Verlander pitches around him. So with one out, they're going to play with the infield back, looking for two. Russell Martin. And Russell Martin swings in a big hack, and he goes down swinging again. That is the fourth strikeout for Verlander. And now Josh Donaldson needs to come through with something here. They're still playing with the infield back. And Donaldson looks at that pitch, and it is over. Verlander gets the breaking ball over. And they leave the bases loaded. No runs, one hit, 3 left. We're going to go to the fourth. So Dickey getting frustrated with his offense here. They haven't done much by the fourth inning. And that's going to be a ground ball, a tough play for Ryan Goins. But he is going to get to it, and he's going to throw to first for the out. That'll bring up James McCann. Jimmy. And that's another ground ball to Goins. Goins to his right, pivots, throws. That'll be the second out. Justin Upton. Oh, that's going to be a ground ball this time. Lots of ground balls here off Dickey. Too low. Throws to first. And the side is retired. Quick inning there for Dickey. And we're going to go to the bottom of the fourth. Still 1-0 Detroit. Encarnacion, he puts a charge into this one. It's going to be up against the wall. Is it going to clear it? It does not, but he will lumber into second base with a double. Another leadoff man on for the Blue Jays. Will they be able to get him home this time? Tulowitzki. Ground ball to short. This won't get the runner over unless it sneaks by Iglesias somehow. And he gets to it. And he makes the play. 1 out Ryan Goins. That's another ground ball to Iglesias, and Iglesias heaves it across the diamond for the 2nd out, and it's up to Jose Bautista. He walked in his first plate appearance. And that's a ground ball. Looked like it was going to get past Verlander, but he grabs it, throws to first, and another leadoff runner goes to die there as the Blue Jays can't string hits together here. So Dickey back out for the 5th. And it'll be Iglesias. And looks like his ball is going to get through here past Encarnacion on the right side. And yes, it does. That'll be a single. Able to corral that is Bautista before Iglesias can go any further. Anthony Goes tripled and scored in the 3rd, the only run of the game. And this might be another single here. Yes, it does get by second baseman Goins, and that will go into right field again. And up to second moves Iglesias. And the Tigers are in business. Up to bunt is Verlander. They're playing in, so he is... It's going to be a D-bunter. And let's see. D-bunter, and he is able to get that down to where Tulowitzki has to make the play. He throws over to first. Only play is to first, and that will leave runners at second and third. Going to bring up Kinsler. They're going to move. They're going to play with the infield back. Here's Kinsler. They'll concede a run in order to get an out here if they can. And let's see. Another walk. That's going to load the bases. Probably pitched around in there. And that brings up Tyler Collins. Double play depth. Looking for 2. Although with Collins up, he does not hit into many of them. And Dickey loses control and tosses another walk. He's going to walk home a run. It's now 2-0 Detroit. Everybody moves up a base. And that's going to bring up Miguel Cabrera. This is a dangerous situation here for the Blue Jays. And Miguel Cabrera makes solid contact with this one, and it is going into the gap. 2 runs are going to score. Collins will hold up at third, but both Kinsler and Goes have come around, and it's now 4-0 in favor of the Tigers. 2 RBI there for Cabrera, and Blue Jays are going to have to start thinking about a pitching change here at some point. They're going to get the bullpen sniffing around here, and they'll have Drew Storen up. So second and third, still 1 out, and it is Victor Martinez. It's a lefty. That's a strikeout. Goes down looking, 2 down, and James McCann. If McCann reaches base, they will have hit around. That's a ground ball right back to Dickey, and Dickey converts that to end that half of the fifth, but 3 runs for the Tigers on 3 hits, and it's 4-0 going to the bottom of the fifth. Incarnate. So wait, so why is what is Encarnacion? Did he get booted for steroids or something? I don't know. All right, Pilar against Verlander. That's a ground ball to third base, and the Blue Jays are being kept under tight wraps here by Verlander, and the Blue Jays are going to have to go to a pinch hitter here. It's going to be this early. They're going to call on Chris Colabello. Speaking of Bush League, actually I should double check and make sure he wouldn't have been brought off of the team by now. If so, that's a mistake on my part. But he gets 2 series, so after this series he will be gone. So Colabello, not a very good card. But we've got to use him at some point here, so might as well use him now. And that's a strikeout. 2 down. Put him back on the pile. Saunders. And he draws a walk. Let's see if Russell Martin can make Verlander pay for that with a 2-out walk to the leadoff hitter. That's Saunders' second walk on the game. But he gets Martin to strike out for the second time, and that will end the inning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strikeouts for Justin Verlander. And just like the previous game in the opposite direction, this time the Tigers are blanking the Jays in up through the 5th inning. Yeah, Colabello he did have a PED suspension, but it wasn't until a few games in, so that's why I'm using him until he's done. And so, okay, Dickey is out. That's what you get for being named after a piece of clothing that simulates another piece of clothing. Be Drew Storen. Hold on a second. I gotta do this, and then I want to mention something regarding Statistician real quick, because I saw he jumped in here, and I just wanted to. So you go from one extreme to the other. Dickey, he goes 4 innings. No, he goes 5 innings. Excuse me. And Okay, so statistician. I haven't seen. I think his name was Ethan, who brought up a question about whether the injury roll would count on a sack bunt. But statistician, he actually contacted Strat, and Strat got back to him and said that it does not count. It only counts when it's off of his own card. So a pitcher's card roll of 611 in this case for Drew Storen would mean the injury roll. And so just to update those who are now in the room, my mitigation for this is when I roll the D20 so like I said before, I'm not concerned as much about the number of injuries based on this project. I'm more concerned about the way that it's implemented. So when we hit an injury roll, so for instance Drew Storen, if it's a 611, I'm going to roll 2 dice, D20 and D6. The D20 tells the duration. The D6, if it's 1 or 2, if it's 1 or 2, it will be he comes out immediately. If it's 3 or 4, where is the 4? I guess they're on opposite sides. Yeah, both sides add up to 7. If it's 3 or 4, he has to come out at the end of the inning. And 5 or 6 means that he can come out, or the manager he plays until up to the manager's discretion, and then the duration will resume after the game in the cases where he isn't out immediately. But that's going to be my modification. This is the 5th game for these two teams, and every other team has played 4. So I feel like this is at least a fair spot to do it from. So Tabletop's playing the show. Yeah, he was telling me about doing that. So Upton will face Storen here. And I forgot to mark P2 here. And against the righty, that's a strikeout. So 1 batter, 1 out. Jose Iglesias, 4-0 Detroit, by the way, if you didn't catch that. And it's a fly ball to center. It's going to be Pilar making the catch. 2 outs, Anthony goes. Speaking of center fielders, he is 2 for 2, single and triple. But this is going to be a ground ball to second, which Goins converts. Storen with a 1-2-3 inning. So we will go to bottom of the 6th. Blue Jays will get who else is rated for longer than they're going to go with they're going to have Franklin Morales up. So that's one of the moves I had to make recently. So Verlander's still out there, pitching strong. It's going to be Josh Donaldson. Blue Jays need some runners here, need some runs. Single for Donaldson. He cracks it into the outfield, and that's a good start for the Jays. Edwin Encarnacion. And he gets another roll on this 2-9. I haven't been mentioning the rolls much, but he already had a... It's not going to get over, is it? It does not. But that'll be a double, and they just have to decide whether they're going to send Donaldson or not. Cruz is into third, and 13. They weren't holding Donaldson on. Makes him a 14. Center fielder goes -1. 1-13 chance. With Tulowitzki coming up, they are going to hold Donaldson and hope that one of these next batters can come through. Tulowitzki 0 for 2 so far. And the pitch. And he strikes out. 1 out. Boy, maybe we should have sent him. Here comes Ryan Goins. It's a ground ball to second base. The run will score on that because they're not playing with the infield in. RBI for Goins. Encarnacion moves up to third base. It's 4-1. Jose Bautista. Hit could score Encarnacion. And that's a ground ball to Iglesias. Iglesias, he's probably going to get a hold of this one just fine. And he gets to the ball for sure. And he makes the play easily for the third out. So they do pick up one run on the RBI ground out. But Blue Jays having trouble getting many hits here at all. They do string a couple here in this inning. 1, 2, 3, 4 hits so far in the game. We're going to the 7th. And they will bring in Franklin Morales here to pitch. Storen goes 1 inning, 3 batters. Franklin Morales, we saw him in the first TBL version pitching for the Royals. But he doesn't pitch much for the Blue Jays in this season. So what I did is I went through and I tried to figure out the players that were most likely to have been playing for their teams. And so, at least early on. So hold on just a second. Okay. Hi, Derek. Hi, Al. Maybe Derek was already here. I can't remember. So the question is, do we keep going with Verlander? I feel like pulling Verlander at this point is probably not a good move for the Tigers. He's a 7-inning pitcher, so he's gonna hit for himself here with a 4-1 lead and hope for maybe this, which is a walk. Righty. So Morales walks him. Ian Kinsler against the lefty. And I forgot to roll this. And he hits a sharp liner, but right at Donaldson, and that'll be the first out. Tyler Collins. Verlander at first. And another walk. That's going to bring up Miguel Cabrera. One more walk and Morales will be tired. Here comes Cabrera. And that is another walk. And let's see, are we going to stick with Morales here? He's tired for sure. They're going to leave him in for Victor Martinez. So here is Martinez, bases loaded, 1 out. They're going to play with the infield in here in the 7th, trying to pick up the out at home. Ground ball to second base, C, with the infield in. Bases loaded, C. Infield in, 7. Batter safe, leader runner's out. Lead runner out, others advance at base. So, that pays off 4-2. Fielder's choice. And so, 2 outs now, and it's going to be up to James McCann. And against Morales, here is the pitch. That's a 3-10. Let's roll this. Ballpark home run. It's got a chance to get out of here. This would be a death blow for the Blue Jays if this goes. But it stays in the park and it will be caught by Michael Saunders, and Franklin Morales gets through that inning somehow, some way. No runs, 3 walks, and they're going to go to the bottom of the 7th. It's the stretch time. Verlander back out. Let's see, they're going to get Jesse Chavez. Let me see. I got to see who. Chavez is unavailable. They got Cecil, Grilly. They're gonna have Grilly warming up here. They tempted fate with Morales for a while. Pilar against Verlander. And that's going to be a ground ball to third base. All of the hitters' cards rolls have gone Verlander's way for the most part, it seems like. So there's going to be a pinch hitter here for Morales. Be Ezekiel Carrera. Oh, 7th. So, nobody on, 1 out. Ezekiel Carrera against Verlander. Got a chance at a double here, but not a very good one. And it doesn't fall in. That will be caught by Goes for the 2nd out. And Michael Saunders, 2 walks and a strikeout. And that's another strikeout for Verlander. And he is dealing with some heat here tonight. Got everything going for him. Tigers have everything going for them. It's 4-1 going to the 8th. And they will bring in Jason Grilly. That may be it for Verlander. So, yeah, it's going to be Upton, Iglesias, and Goes, and then the pitcher spot if they can get to it against Grilly. So here's Justin Upton. Ballpark home run chance. It's long, and it is gone. There's no doubt about that one. Justin Upton takes it deep, and it is gone. It's now 5-1, and the fans start heading for the exits here. It looks like this is going to be a day the Padres will forget. Or the Blue Jays will forget. That's a ground ball to Goins for the 1st out. Anthony Goes now. Strikes him out. Goes 2 for 4 now. And Verlander, they're going to save him for another day. So they're going to pinch hit with Mike Aviles. Maybe it's Aviles. Two outs, one across already, and here's Aviles. And he draws a walk. Gurley would be tired if he gives up another hit or walk here. But that's a ground ball to Tulowitzki, and the play is made. Another run for the Tigers. They would have loved to have a few of these the game before, but it's now 5-1. Aviles. That was close. And Verlander is gone. They will bring in it's not a save situation, so gotta look at Detroit's pen here and see what they've got going on. This is a game. They will go with Alex Wilson. Brought up Logan Kensing as a relief pitcher, and I was looking at his card, and I think that would be grossly unfair to bring him in at this point, but at some point we're going to have to. So, not in this game, but at some point down the road. So Verlander goes 7 innings. But it's going to be up to Alex Wilson, and I don't know, maybe they'll stick with him if it doesn't become a save situation. They can go to K-Rod as well if they want. And we don't need Tyler Collins. Russell Martin against Alex Wilson. And Russell Martin tags this one well. It is gone. 4, 5, and a 3. That is gone. It is now 5-2 as Martin puts a dent into that one. Unfortunate for the Blue Jays, that couldn't happen with more guys on base. So here's Josh Donaldson. Bottom of the 8th, now 5-2. Ground ball to third base. And that will be Miguel Cabrera. He throws to first. Martinez catches it for the out. Encarnacion doesn't need to throw the D20. Against a righty, ballpark single chance, 1-7. And that is going to be a single. And it is a save situation now, by the way. 5-2. That's within 3 runs. Encarnacion at first. Tulowitzki at the plate. And that's going to be a double play ball. Easy one. That's going to be a slow, quick roller. It's going to be 5-4-3. And Wilson gets himself out of that jam. Not a big jam, but still a jam. And so we're going to go to the 9th, 5-2. And they will get K-Rod. Ready to rock and roll here for the Tigers. And let's see, for the Blue Jays, Grilly, they're gonna have to bring in another. They're gonna need to bring in another pitcher because he pitched to 5 guys, and you can't really. Let's see. I think, didn't I say Chavez was unavailable? Yeah. They're going to go with Brett Cecil here. Wait. What about Asuna? Top of the ninth, they're going to go with Roberto Asuna here. They just want to try and keep this from getting any further out of hand. He hasn't pitched in a few games. So, Asuna, no injury, and he's not very good at holding guys on. So, okay, it's going to be 2-3-4. But they want a strong righty to face these guys. So here's Tyler Collins leading off the ninth. That's going to be a ground ball. Tough play for Tulowitzki. But he gets to it and makes the play for the first out. So that brings up Miguel Cabrera. We could see a couple of defensive substitutions here. Bottom of the inning against a righty. Strikes him out. 2 outs. That's Victor Martinez. And another strikeout for Asuna. And they're going to go to the bottom of the inning, and Detroit is going to be looking for Francisco Rodriguez to close this game out. And let's see, what are we going to do here for... Let's take a look at their potential. They will bring in... They're going to bring in... Andrew Romine to play third base. Oops. They're just going to go ahead and put Francisco Rodriguez and Martinez's spot and move Cabrera to first base. So just give me a moment here as I change. So Romine, third base is going to become 2E11. And first base will be 3E8. And all right, so I think that should suffice. Oh, wait, let me see here. Where does that go? All right. Always some administrative work to do here to try and clean things up as you get ready to go. So, it's going to be... let's take a look here. They are going to pinch hit for Goins with Devin Travis. Where are they? Yeah, they will. So he's going to pinch hit for Goins to start the 9th here. Blue Jays would love to get something started. But that's a pop out to short. And that's 1 out. Jose Bautista, 0 for 2 with a walk. Strikes him out. And one last out left for the Blue Jays, or they will go down here and drop the record to 2-3. Here is Kevin Pillar. Can he keep the game going? And sure enough, he does. That's going to go in there and be a single. Actually, no, he's going to stretch it to a double. And still life left in these Blue Jays. They will bring in Darwin Barney to pinch hit for the pitcher spot. Runner at second, 2 outs. Here's Barney. One to 10 would keep this game going, and the runner at second would move to third. And that is going to be a line out. It is caught by Iglesias, and the game is over. The Detroit Tigers take game 2 of this series. It looked like maybe this would be a game the Blue Jays would be able to squeak out again, but Justin Verlander just too much to deal with, and a 5-2 victory for the Tigers. Verlander with the win. The loss goes to R.A. Dickey. And Francisco Rodriguez will get the save. Not quite a perfect 9th, but got enough of it done to get the save and get into the book here for the game. So there we go. So that was an interesting game. It didn't have the fireworks that can often come from these games, but you did end up with Justin Upton with a home run. You had Russell Martin with a solo home run, and that's it. You had some other runs produced. So, and no pitchers' rolls produced this time, so that's different. Yeah, I mean, you can't pick all of these games to, you can't really pick the ones that are going to be the best. You can't tell when something's going to be a barn burner. So, but that's okay. Sometimes you feel those games out, and then other times you. I didn't. To be perfectly honest, I wasn't really approaching this game with the expectation it was going to be some kind of a, awesome finish or anything. I did think the Blue Jays would have a little more bite, and instead they just sort of flamed out here. But that's all right. They are a bit flighty, and they lost 2 of 3 to the Marlins, and now they will have Stroman going in Game 3, while the Tigers will have to rely on Shane Green, who's not exactly Cy Young or anything. So okay, I'm going to sign off here. Probably won't play another game tonight. Got to see what I'm going to be doing here is I got 2 games to upload in the Strat PC. So anyway, feeling pretty good. A little tired, but not too bad. So let me see. Any thoughts here on the channel? Boy, so sounds like the Indians are struggling in real life, which is too bad because I have some Indians fans that are fans of the channel here. But tell you what, it is tough. It's tough to repeat unless you are a team that constantly spends. And even then, it's pretty tough. So we'll see. The Indians, they still play in a division where they should be able to sort that out. But we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to head out and take it easy, everybody. The Tigers get game 2. Now both teams are at 2 and 3. And the next game, if I play one, which probably, I don't know if I'd play one tomorrow, but it would be Mets and Orioles. That'd be the next game on the docket. So we'll see what goes on with that. So thanks a lot, guys. Have a great night. See you soon, and Strat on.